The 16th of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora. All right.
Okay, welcome back to everybody, and good morning to Phil again. And we're going to discuss the interesting subject of Basar Shinisalam Min Ayin.
Okay. So Rav said, Basar Shanis Alem Min Ha'ayin Asur. Meat that has disappeared from sight is forbidden. So don't leave your meat out on the street. Uh, but,
Oh, we
but
don't have any Rashi on this. Oh yeah, there's just looks like just one Rashi over here. Divrei Maskil Asur.
Usher. Shema perhaps need Khalef Benevela. It would be switched with Nevela, which you're not allowed to eat.
Okay, so I guess yeah. Okay, so that's the issue. That's the issue. And Gemora is bringing up Rav, and Rav says Basar Shinisalam Min Ayin is Asur. Just briefly, but the meat that has for some period of time, that's probably also a question. How long does it have to be? For some extended period of time, it hasn't been it hasn't been under the watchful eye of a Yisrael, of a Jewish person. So that's called Basar Nisalam Min Ayin. So that will be usher because we have a concern that perhaps it was switched with Basar Nevela. So on that, so if you remember the story with this bird, the bird picked up the meat and it dropped it in this the Beimar Marion. And so the question would be that during that time that it was in flight, it didn't have any supervision. Nobody knew what happened with it. Maybe you couldn't see the bird flying or something like that. So it qualifies as a case of Basar Shinisalam Min Ayin. Okay. Right. So the Gemara, did we read the Gemora's answer?
no, that's what's next.
Okay.
Ba'omer v'ro'ehu. Um, uh, this is a case in which he was standing and observing. So it left his possession. He was standing and observing it.
Yeah.
And the Rashi on that says Vero, they saw it. Shenislatu ad sheheshlichu, that it was taken until it was sent away.
Rashi, Ra'uhu, Mishanatlo, from the time that the bird took it,
until he sent
Ah,
it.
Sheshlichu, till it cast it over in the area of Bar Merion. There was a Jew that saw the whole thing and saw how the bird did what it did, and so like that, it's not the Basrish Nisalamina Ayin at all. Because we were saying in that case that what actually did we say? We said it's Zuta Shel Yam. Oh, yeah, the Gemara was just discussing the issue of can Bar Merion keep the meat, but now the Gemara is bringing up the issue of, but is the meat permissible to eat? On that, the Gemara is saying from the standpoint of it's not Basish Nisalam Mina Ayin. Okay. Okay. So it's interesting. I'm just thinking right now. I don't know if in halacha it's regarded as being absolutely necessary, but I was just thinking, you have a kosher meat restaurant, right? And so they're working in the kitchen over there with meat all the time. So you don't necessarily need to have a mashgiach there all the time. I mean, that might be dependent upon different kashrus agencies, whether they require that or not. But to just have a Yisrael to make sure that there's no meat over there that's switched, that would seem to be a clear-cut halacha that no one could. These kitchens, you have at least one Jewish person that's working there with the food, with the meat, so he knows what's going on with the meat, at least in terms of whether it's been switched. Okay, Rabbi Chanina. Oh no, I keep wanting to go to Rabbi Chanina. Oh yes. Yeah, that's where we are right now. Rabbi Chanina Matzah Gedi Shachut. Didn't we do this before?
I think so. There was a couple of cases where meat was found between Tiberias and Tipori. But I think we did.
Okay, so we already did that. That was Rabbi Chanina. Yeah, and then we okay, so we're up to the Mishnah. I think we did all these cases. Yeah, we did all the way up to the Mishnah. Okay, so let's read from the Mishnah. Roy, you want to read the Mishnah?
Okay. So Rav Chania,
You're skipping a lot of people. And you went back and did that, Rav, because we did that before the Rav.
Oh,
Okay.
so Rav Hanina, Matzah, do you want me to start from there? All right. Rav Hanina Matzah Gedi Shehot. Rav Hanina found a slaughtered kid, Bain Tiveria Tzipori. The Hitiruhu Lo, the sages permitted it to him. Omar Rabba Ami, Rabba Ami said, he was and he's going to be elaborating the sage's ruling. Hatiru lo mishum Metzia. They permitted it to him as regards a found object and did not obligate him to announce and return it. Karevi Shimon ben Eliezer, in accordance with the opinion of Shimon ben Eliezer, as the Gemora will explain below, Mashum Shahita. It also permitted the meat to him as regards the law of ritual slaughter of Shahita. The Rabbi Hanina ben Shel Rabbi Yossi HaGalili, in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Hanina, the son of Yossi HaGalili, Tehania, for it has been taught in the Brisa. Hooray, She'ovdu Lo Gedoyin V'Sara Nagalov. If one lost his kids or chickens, V'Holech U'Matzor Shehutin, and he went and found them slaughtered, Reb Yehuda Omer, prohibits them to be eaten. Also, sorry. Well, Reb Yehuda prohibits them to be eaten, since they may not have been slaughtered properly. The Rav Hanania, Beno Shel Rabbi Yossi HaGalili, Matil, and Reb Hanania, the son of Reb Yossi HaGalili, permits them to be eaten. Umar Rebbe said, Nirin de Bere Rabbi Yehuda. The words of Rabbi Yehuda seem more correct. Teshema So'on B'ashpo. When he found them in a garbage heap, where it was customary to discard the carcasses of improperly slaughtered animals, the divrei Rabbi Hanania, Onu Shel Rabbi Yossi HaGalili, the words of Rabbi Hanania, the son of Rabbi Yossi HaGalili, seem more correct. B'Shema Sa'od, when he found them in a house. When he found them in a house. Rabbi said that the words of Rabbi Yehuda seem more correct when he found them in a garbage heap. And the
What's
words
that?
of Rabbi Hanania was son of Rabbi. Or I'm just reading it again straight through. When he found them in a house. Okay.
So we have some Rashis here. Mishkamatsu ba'ashpa.
Okay, mishpachas. We found it in the garbage. Shederech nevela lehishlichu v'ashpa. Because if you have a nevela, that's the way to do it, to throw it into the garbage. You figure it's worthless, so you throw it in the garbage. Okay.
Why would you eat something from the garbage anyway?
You're not going to eat it, but that's why it's worthless if it's an avela. A Jew doesn't want an avela. What is he going to do with it?
Yeah, but so why do you go?
It doesn't make sense though, because isn't a Jew allowed to, even though the Jew can't eat it, you can't sell the avela to a guy?
Yeah.
Unless that's a place that they're only Jews or rove Israelim and not even to sell it to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even yeah. So but it doesn't change the fact that if the Jew threw it away, he obviously he we find it in the Ashba. We can rest assured that it was an Avela though. Why didn't he sell it to a goy? I don't know, but he didn't want to eat it. If he wanted to eat it, he wouldn't have. If it was kosher, he would surely want to eat it because he certainly paid a lot of money for the meat. So if he paid a lot of meat, then it was shechted. Doesn't make sense that we find it in the ashpa unless he wasn't planning on eating it. And why wouldn't he plan on eating it? But for the fact that it was an avela. The fact that he could have sold it to a goy, okay, no, he didn't know, or he wasn't capable, or he doesn't want to bother with that, all of that, whatever reason. Okay. So thing though here is he didn't find it. What's the case of Rabbi Hanina? Rabbi Hanina Matza Gedi Shachut Bein Tiberia Litzipuri. Doesn't sound like you found it in the house. It doesn't sound like you found it in the ashpo either. Okay. In any case, Gemora is not overly worried with the issue of the kashrus permissibility to eat it. They're interested in the issue of who does it belong to. This gedi shachut. So the Gemora, let's read further in the Gemora. Oh, actually, the Gemara is basing on the fact that they matched it the shchita. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. You see, what the Gemara is saying is that from the fact that the Chachamim who pasuk in this shaila, right? Rabbi Hanina. It's interesting. It's an interesting point here. You know, Rabbi Hanina. He's an Amora. He's a very, very pious and scholarly a sage of the Jewish people, and in spite of that, he didn't want to paskin his own shaila when it came to this gedi shachut. He wanted. This is something that we should think about. Why would he not have just paskin the shaila himself? You don't think that Rabbi Hanina knew about the Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar and Rabbi Hananya Benosho Rabbi Yossi Aglili and all the Torah that's said over here? Why did he have to go ask the Chachamim what he should do with this animal that he found?
That was the correct protocol.
That was the correct protocol, right? When you have a shaila, you go ask. What if you know the shaila? What if you know he know? I'm saying that you don't think that Rabbi Hanina knew perfectly well what the halacha was over here? Okay. The only thing that I can think of is that it wasn't such a clearly decided uh, like the Gemora says in the case of the shechita. The Gemara says it was a machlokes tanoim. So there was different views about it, and of course in the case of the case of the Metzia, whether you have to be machris, this was also there. There was the Shimon Elazar, and then there was the Chachamim. There was different views about that as well. And the Gemara right now is going to say that, oh, you see that based upon this story, we see that the halacha follows, right? The Gemara is going to say, you see, the halacha follows this rabbi, that rabbi, this Tana, that Tana, whatever it is, but maybe the matter was not an agreed upon matter who the halacha went according to, and Rabbi Hanina, even though he certainly had his view about who the halacha should be, I'm sure, but when it comes to his own shaila, he didn't want to paskin for himself, perhaps because he feared that he would be he's got a conflict of interest over here in paskening his own shaila, right? After all, it's his own shaila. So when Roy says it's correct protocol, the reason why it's the correct protocol is because we ask shilas, because even though we think we know the answer, but we want a disinterested opinion. we want a what do you call it? A
neutral.
Yeah, something right.
Like that.
Something like that, right? A disinterested party. Mm-hmm. The disinterested party is more able to see what the correct halacha should be than a party who's interested. Perhaps that's why the accepted protocol is to when we have a shaila, and here we even see even Rabbi Hanina had a shaila. He that's what he did. So it's a big chizuk in asking shailas, because many times I know myself, many times I I thought the halacha was one way, and they go ask the Rav, and the Rav says the other way. Okay.
Yeah.
So I found this story very interesting. Okay. Oh, so now we got to go to the next step in the Gemora. Midahiti ruhulo. Louis, want to read? Louis, want to read?
Yeah, okay. Let's see.
It's on 24b3.
Right-hand column.
Right-hand column, the middle. The Gemara now attempts to resolve one of its questions from this ruling?
Okay, so Mita Hatir Uhu Lo Mishum should Shechika from the fact that the sages permitted it to him as regards the law of upper slaughter, it is evident that the incident arrived.
Rabbi Yisrael?
From the fact that the sages permitted it to him as regards the law of proper slaughter, it is evident that the incident occurred. Ruba Yisrael Ninahu, in a place where there were a majority of Jews. Shema Mina, hear from this. Halacha Rebbe Shimon ben Elazar. Halacha is like Rebbe Shimon ben Elazar. Afilu Afilu lo ara.
Afilu barov Yisrael.
Afilu even with a majority of Jews.
Now, can we follow this line of reasoning over here? What's the Gemora saying over here? There's two steps over here. Step one is from the fact that the Chachamim that mattered this Gedi Shachut to Rabbi Hanina, even mitzad the din of Shechita, meaning that they not only allowed him to not, they said you don't have to announce it, but they also allowed him to eat it. So the Gemora is saying, step one, from the fact that we see that the Chachamim allowed him to eat it, that proves to us that it must have been that it was found in a place which there was a majority of Jews. The majority population there was Jews. So then, right, because that's why we would assume that he could eat the meat, because if most of the population there is Jews, so that means that most of the people there keep kosher, and that means that we could go according to the Rov that we can assume that this meat is kosher. Oh, that's very nice. But now we go to step two. The Gemara says now we could resolve the question that we've been having for the last 20 lines over here. This that Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, he says a din. He says that when you find a lost item in a place where the Rabbim is Metzuyin Sham, you find it in a place where there's a multitude of people is found in this place, public area. He said, "Hare elu shelo," you could keep it. And we wanted to know, was that that Rabbi Hanina, that Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar said that was that in a place where it was, where even was in a place dafka of rov Kananim, and that's why you could keep it, or did he mean even in a case where the rov is a rov of Yisrael, and you could keep it? So now the Gemara says in step 2, from the fact that we say that it was mutter mishum shchita, now we understand that when Reb Shimon Elazar was saying his din that we paskin like, he was saying his din in the case where you found in a place of a multitude of people, that in that general area is Rov Yisrael. Even if it's Rov Yisrael, still you could keep it. That's the line of reasoning that the Gemara is going into. And now, let's see. So when the Gemara says Shema Mina, the Gemara generally means to be asking for a confirmation. It's like the Gemara saying, Shema Mina, shall we say that we hear from this that Rav Shimon ben Elazar says his din even in a case of Rov Yisrael? And on that, the Gemara brings the view of Rava. Let's see who wants to read Amar Rava. It's Roy, it's your turn to read Amar Rava.
Amar Rava said, nothing can be proven from this incident. Rav Kananim, because the area in which the slaughtered kid was found had a majority of Canaanites. Rav Tabachai Yisrael, but a majority of the slaughterers in that area were Jews. Thus Rav Hanina was permitted to keep the kid and eat it because of all probability that it had been slaughtered by a Jew. And there's a similar incident with the Gemora sites. Will I read that?
So let's just, before we read that, let's just pause and see how the Gemora, how Rava, what is Rava doing over here? Rava is rejecting the Gemora's Shema Mina. Gemora is saying to the Gemora's suggestion that Rav Shimon Elazar says his din even in the case of Rov Yisrael. Rava says, no, you don't have a proof. Gemora, you got no proof. Because I'll tell you that really, it would, even if it would be in a case of Rov Kananim, but still, the Chachamim could have allowed him to eat that meat, the basar shachut, because why? Because it doesn't matter about what's the composition of the people that live there. It matters about what's the composition of the tabachim, the rich, the slaughterers that are there. And we're saying that the slaughterers over there were the rov of them were Yisrael. So that's why we can say that he could eat the meat. Kind of a strange answer, though, if you think about it. Why would there be a case of the most of the people in the vicinity are goyim, but the butchers are mainly Jews? Okay. So, but like that, we could say that it doesn't. We could say what we said. Okay. Yes, Roy, you could continue now.
There's a similar incident. Turning over now to 24b4. Rabbi Ami Ashokach Pragiot Shutos Ben Tiberia Litzipori. The Rabbi found slaughtered pigeons between the cities of Tiberias and Tippori. Asa Lekama Rabbi Asi. He came before Rabbi Asi to ask about them. The Amare la Lekamia Rabbi Yochanan. And others say he came before Rabbi Yochanan to inquire. The Amare le be Midrasha, and still others say that he came before the sages in the study hall to pose his query. For Amaru lay, and they said to him, Dil Shakil Nafshak. And they said to him, go take it for yourself. And there's a final incident. Rabbi Yochanan, Yitzchak, Nafkai, Rabbi Yitzchak Nafka, Ashaka, Kiburia, found coils of spun string, the Azalei, 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 that the trappers use for making nets. You found spun string that trappers use for making nets. Your Ternon, Ata the Kamei, Rab Yochanan. He came before Rab Yochanan and to ask about them. But Amari lay Bebe Midrasha, and others say he came before the sages in the study hall to pose his question. But Amaru lay, and they said to him, Zil Shako Nafshak, go take them for yourself.
Interesting.
Okay, it's basically times we do have to figure this out.
Okay. Okay, very good. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shavua Tov, Bezrat Hashem.
See you tomorrow,
Bye.
Hashem.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye, Phil. Bye, Lou.
Bye-bye.
Bye, boy.